but at some point, we've got to get all our final commitments in place so that I can lock all this down and start pulling all this financial stuff together.
Mr. Moore, did you talk to the town of Clintwood about the 50,000 if they was going to match half of it?
I did not. I did not get to. Actually, I had put on my notes for the next 2 days. I need to talk to Ron Kendrick and see where he is in that with that process. If he had gone back and actually spoken to the town, and find out exactly what it is that he's going to need there. I have left that as a placeholder. Not that it's been approved, but I've left it as a placeholder because I know the vehicle's already here. He posted a picture of it. It's a good-looking vehicle. However, I don't have the approval of how much to provide. I really had hoped that could be a 50-50 split with the town, but I don't know if that's what they want to do or not. So I will follow up with him on that one item right there.
David, forgive me if I'm being redundant or the 389 is a non-committed number. That's what we have that's formally not committed.
Your first two columns, the 2750 and the 90,969, those are hard commitments that I know we're going to pay through CARES Act. All I'm waiting on is to get the things done. You've voted those things. Now, if you come back to the third column, which says estimates, these are things, some of these are things that are approved, some of these are things that are not approved, like the sheriff's vehicles. I was told they have been delivered. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen an invoice, and I need to get...
The 4 or the 2, because I know
we've got 4 in there, and we may have to move 2 of them out just because of the amount of money, but...
Well, that's what I know.
Yes, but if some of these other items don't add up, you can see where columns 3 and 4 are going to move back and forth. Okay.
So then, does that mean that we have a little less than 100 uncommitted technically? Then?
Well,
and again, I'm just maybe not following and I'm trying to follow the sheet.
All right.
Is the 175 in the 4th column in the 3rd column total or not?
I think I understand you, but I just want to be totally sure, and I'm sorry.
Well, did we
okay.
give them permission for 2, or did we give them permission for 4?
You all voted 4.
We did, but
Right.
then we had other things come up.
Yep, I brought you 2. We went with 2, then the number was up to 4, so we gave them 4. But I knew all along that there was a possibility we may have to move 2 of those out of CARES Act and just pay them county side. I've had a hard time writing up the justification on
We were committed to
those.
buy, or did
I
we already
understand.
do it? Weren't we committed to buy them 2 anyways, out of county money?
We were, but see, I have to document in a separate manner how it ties to COVID and CARES Act. 2 is a fairly easy justification because of the vehicles that we
No,
were
and I only
taking
meant
off the
that if
road.
we had to back 2 out, we still were already planning
I
to
understand what
buy
you're
them.
saying.
We were, yes, we were
Yeah.
going to do
Yeah.
4 either way.
Yeah,
So,
so that's,
But what do you want from us here? I sort of see where we are.
The
I
big-
have one question, David,
okay.
one question about hazard pay for the building inspector. It
Yep.
wasn't included. I don't know why that, I can't understand why we include the animal control, but nevertheless,
Wow.
that's okay, but I think that, I know the last year I worked, I only did $25 animal bites, but,
We debated that, I know.
I just think that maybe we should include,
Do you know how
Chris.
many inspections he's done since March? Have you checked that?
No, I haven't checked it. I meant to call the health department today and ask. I don't think we get, we've never had a case of rabies in this county. We are required by law, if a doctor reports an animal bite, we are required to investigate it. That doesn't mean they're all gonna be quarantined, and most people will quarantine them at the house, but sometimes they have to take them to the animal shelter. But what I'm asking, can we include I know, Chris is around, people just about as much or more than some of these people, the animal control, and, I would like to see him get hazardous pay as well.
All the
whatever
hazard pays were approved by you guys. I only brought you recommendations. You guys are the ones that
That's right.
actually
I would
voted.
like to talk.
I will say about Chris, if I would have thought, if I overlooked Chris in the first round.
I never thought about it.
I basically drew the line with the first round. It was outside jobs. If you have to go outside into the community and basically do not have the ability to decide between whether you go or don't go, You know, and again, we backed up and rental assistance was able to get some stuff through their own program. That's great. But Chris is one of the people that has gone out, and I would have brought him to you the first time, but that was an oversight on my part.
I never thought about it either.
I didn't
David.
either. I missed it.
Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, I would like to talk to this because I'm the reason Shannon got added to that list, and I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, I'm not against.
No,
them.
no, I don't take it that way. What I wanna explain, what I explained that night, was I only threw Shannon's name in this as an example. What I was trying to get you guys to understand that this is the potential to open up Pandora's box.
Yep, it is.
And I was trying to get you to zero in on a criteria that you were gonna use to pick who qualified, because we had people that work in an office in this building that were asking for it. And I was trying to get us to come up, and I too, it was an oversight for Chris, but is there others as well that are an oversight? Because really, truly, and this is the thing that it appalls me to see what's going on here, because we have yet, because of this pandemic and other things, got the serious business in this county. We've got some things accomplished, like the school and that, but we need to be you made a statement there that really was keying in on something that I want to do. I shouldn't have to ask how many times Shannon goes out on calls. We should probably get a report that shows how many times. We should be collecting metrics on this so we know whether we need 2, maybe 3 animal control people or the opposite. And I'm only using his office as
We're on the same page.
as an example. But that's the reason Shannon got into this, but I'm good with Chris too. Is there others out there, because
Well,
we've got a set of criteria.
I think we all come from a very good place and want to do this, and I know David did as well. We were trying to help, the trash guys, that they don't have a choice. The police officers, they don't have a choice, and the guys like the animal control department, the building control, we sort of slipped through the cracks. I don't think we all were coming from a good place to try to
think
thank
so,
people
too.
for being out in this mess. And, I mean, I agree
But
with everything
who do
you're
we,
saying.
who do we
And it
really
does open
want?
Pandora's
Is there others out there?
But we all
'cause
come
I'm
from a
trying to
very
get
good
us to
place
zero
in
on
doing
a
this.
criteria.
We didn't mean to leave nobody out.
No, and I'm not taking what you said, Rhonda, as an attack.
No, I'm not attacking. I think, I'm not certainly gonna use Shannon and them.
No,
getting a
you were-
hazardous pay.
you
I
were
like to
making
see
an
Chris.
example.
I'm just saying, I think we should include Chris, and you're
I
right
do-
where
I
it's
do
right.
too.
There's some others out there that may need it.
Yeah, I agree with Chris all the way, but what I'm trying to say is criteria and who else falls into that criteria. We need to be, because if we don't get it right, it's gonna be repercussions.
Mr. Chairman, can I?
Yes, sir.
May I just, as a way of information for the board? One of the things I try in my life to do is to be smarter tomorrow than I am today. And I think that's what the gentleman's talking about is there's going to be additional COVID money coming after the first of the year. And I think it'll be at least $1.2 million that the county will get, probably sometime after the first of the year. And you're going to be faced with the same decisions again as to who you want to distribute to and how you distribute. And so I think you'll have another bite at the apple to try to be smarter in January, if that's applicable, than you were maybe in October or November. This is all new ground for you. It's all new ground for everybody across the state.
yeah.
All the country, and it's not always going to be exactly right when you do it, but you always have the option to back up and try to improve it the next time you see it, or through this process to improve it. I think that's just my viewpoint. So, but I think that come January, you will have another COVID package that you will be dealing with.
I hope so.
Well, I don't know what, I'm open to, if somebody wants to make a motion to back up and give it to him or wait or whatever. I
Right
don't
now-
think it's anybody's fault. Definitely don't think it's David's. I didn't think of him.
Well, right
I mean,
now,
I never thought
who do
about
we
it.
have that's
I
getting,
mean, I would have put him on
You
the
have all
list.
your solid waste.
Yeah, I
All
knew
of your
that.
law enforcement, and that's basically it.
we did maintenance
And the
too,
animal control, the maintenance guys, because
the
they're
maintenance
cleaning.
guys. And I want you to really
5
sincerely
employees that
think, is there
clean.
others, building inspector, is there?
There's where you come
Well, like
from.
Candace, how many inspections Candace office is doing?
Well, I mean,
Or is it Candace or her helper that does? it?
Hers come
They-
from doing that,
they both
Come
do.
from the housing department.
housing department, Virginia Housing.
but you have to understand, we do receive funds from the Virginia Housing for the rental assistance, and so that, that's where I
And we
brought
kinda
you
took
last-
care of that on that bonus, yeah.
Yes, because I had spoken to them, and I was like,
Yeah.
I just wanted them to understand, I understood that they're in a tough spot. They're still having to see people, they're still having to go out and to do inspections. They have had some of their rules relaxed a little bit, but not in its entirety, and so, you gotta just keep doing business. And so they were able to get, they were given the opportunity to work and get a bonus. They got the bonus for the office, and we helped
more of a
take care of it.
performance
And I wanna say one other thing on this, really, truly, everyone that works for us has an increase to exposure. But at least if they're in a building, we can put them behind plexiglass and so forth to kind of protect them. But some of these that have to go out and really interact with the public, that's the ones we're trying to capture with this
Well,
kind.
and that's right, and we just
Yeah.
let Chris sort of, that's-
Yeah, Chris is in
We
that.
just slipped
Chris
it,
is in
and
that.
David said it best.
I would ask that you consider Chris.
Oh, I'm good with
Make a
Chris.
motion.
I just wanna make sure we
If
don't have any oversight.
if I would have not have somehow missed his name, I would
Me
have had,
too.
I would
It
have had
was
him on the list.
totally a
in June.
mistake.
I
It's
just
no
missed
big
it.
deal.
I just-
Yeah, it's not big, I'm not against
Mr.
this.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we include Chris Rakes, the building inspector, and hazardous
I'll
pay.
second it.
All those, any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. No problem, that's all, and make very good points, and we'll know that the next round.
Yep.
I
Nope.
did talk to.
Well, no, she did right. She brought it up and we were all good.
Well, I did talk to Ron Kendrick about the 50,000, just briefly. He doesn't seem to think, he can't vote, because he's on the town council, he can't vote on any of the.
Which makes
rescue
sense,
squad
right? That's his
things.
employer.
And so he seems to think what I can get out of him, they're not gonna give any money down to Clintwood. I may be wrong, I hope I am.
What do you need from us now, David?
The only, I'm gonna do my homework on that one, so we can let that one ride. The only ones I really need action on are the two health wagon requests. Knowing that we are not going to be able to put
Let's put
$50,000
in their request.
into the rapid test kits with our RX.
I'll make a motion, we fund both those.
Those two requests are ones I need to know.
Well, they wanted 46,000, now they want another 14,000?
Okay, the 46,000 is
Was the
for
original,
them
wasn't
to actually put more people out. They will help the health department do
$60,000?
more tests. They will actually give flu vaccines, and they're gonna help do contact tracing for Dickinson County only.
That-
The 13,950 was a separate request that came in a letter, basically because they need a special freezer to keep and store vaccines. It has to be kept so cold. And they made the same request of Wise County that they did us for the facility in Wise, and then also for the facility here.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak just a little bit on
Yeah, I was gonna ask you a question. I
on
think
the
you kind of-
coronavirus? Mr. Chairman, and I sincerely hope the public is listening today, and if not, we may have to do something in the near future at the board's request. The coronavirus issue is going to be extremely serious in January, February, March, and April. So serious, Mr. Chairman, that over the weekend, you asked me one time, what do I think about? And I think about things all the time that involve this county and that involve you. And whether I'm at work or not, I still think about things. I'm doing an email today to your emergency folks, asking them to make an assessment as to how many people our local funeral homes can handle if we have the deaths that I anticipate that we'll have potentially in January, February, and March. I think there's a possibility that some of the localities in Southwest Virginia will require mobile morgues. This is how serious this is going to be in January,
Do
February,
you know
March.
they can't embalm them here? They have to send them somewhere.
They would, that would be, all of them may,
If they die of COVID.
if they die of COVID. And if they die of COVID, and if they don't die of COVID, still yet, I don't know what the capacity is in Dickinson County of Mullins and Hayside Funeral Home. If the capacity is not there, and the only way that you can handle the potential overflow of deaths that may occur in January, February, March, and April would be to have a mobile morgue set up in Dickinson County to handle them. And that's, I guess, called a reefer truck. That's a freezer truck. And these mobile, that's how serious this is going to get. in
How
my
bad
opinion.
it got in New York.
And this money that David has talked to you about will go a long way to helping to lessen, even if it's 5 deaths or 10 deaths, it will help this county immensely. If it's one individual that saves, this money that is going to the health wagon. But the freezer aspect of it is both the Pfizer and the Moderna both require unique freezer capacity. Both
I
of
thought
them.
one of them didn't.
No,
Is it both of them are?
both of them do. One of them is minus 75 degrees, and the other is at a little above 0. And so, but there's some capacity on Moderna that if you can, sometimes it will, if, let's say the health wagon gets in the shipment, it's got to go in this freezer. And then the Moderna is, you're able to let it set out for maybe 2 or 3 days. But you're talking about large volumes of vaccine coming into the health wagon potentially to help vaccinate. And I hope and pray that these vaccines come and are distributed. I think that is the only hope that we have in this state, in this country, that it will hopefully stop the pandemic. But in my opinion, these freezers are going to be very short supply. They're going to be in high demand, and if these folks can get them, I would really encourage you to have them in place so that they can store this vaccine for the citizens of the county. I'd really encourage you to do that.
I make a motion that we fund the health wagon. Those,
I already did.
oh, you did?
Yeah, I threw a
Okay.
motion.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
Okay, as far as funds, that's all that I need. The other part that we wanted to talk about was on the small business assistance. There came a question about whether to allow sole proprietorships, which is basically your Schedule C, small business operators. They were included by VCTA and the IDA in the first round. When Freddie had drafted this for the second round, they were not included in that. But the first thing that happened is a lot of the people that were inquiring were actually Schedule C, the kind that they've not gone out, they're not an LLC, they're not an LLP, they're not incorporated, they just file a small business return on their personal income tax. So the question is, I'm okay with that. The question became, should we use an income threshold? That they have to have a certain amount of gross receipts before being eligible in this round. Freddie and I had discussed that maybe they needed to have $5,000 in gross receipts because they're going to have to provide a tax return. Show us
We
your
need to
tax,
show that they at least work.
show us your tax
Right.
return, because there are a lot of Schedule Cs of people that they throw one on there, but they're not what I would call really doing business. They dabble in
It's
things.
what IRS looks at as a hobby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because over time, you have to demonstrate you're actually conducting a business, not just performing a
Weren't
hobby.
we also gonna prioritize for folks that didn't get anything the last?
Yes, that mechanism, all that's in place. The only thing that really came up is I thought that the proprietorships needed to have an income threshold. Because,
I
and
agree
you guys,
Well, if their business is down, they're
You've
not
got,
gonna have good,
you've
but
got
they're-
Avon.
but they're showing you their 2019 tax
Exactly.
return.
Yeah.
Would have been for last year.
2019 or
Well, your last tax return you did
2018.
was your 19
So
rate.
you've not done
Or
20
your
yet.
quarterly, either one.
If they can show and demonstrate we're in business and we do have gross receipts up to, there's going to be a little leeway, but if somebody
think
brought
it
in
should
an
be about
18 tax
5,000.
return, I guess that's good enough. I don't know.
Well,
It
I've
needs
got
to be in the last 2 years.
I've got one that's
agree.
just starting up, and I know they're not gonna have, that kind of money. I understand what you're saying, but some of them are just they're just not gonna have a income of much, like,
Well, you can leave it with no income threshold. That's going to throw a lot more people into the pool, and at that point, I don't know how you.
well, she has put it,
Draw
didn't
a
she put
line.
it in the paper? Was it in the paper?
Yeah.
How many has she had thus far, do you know?
I don't know. She and I talked on Friday, but I don't.
I
there's
think
gotta be
for
some
that Schedule
criteria.
C, you should have about a $5,000 income. If you didn't, you really, to me, you're
What about people?
going into your sales like Amber sells, Scentsy. And, you know, I guess she sells $5,000 worth, but she takes out her mileage, you know, for delivering. And then you got others that sell Avon. And I guess their sales are down because they
You wanted
can't
to
probably
do
go door to door.
2,500, but I think
Well,
we
you
have
know,
to
I
have
got
some
that dog
criteria.
I
guy
think you have
that's
to have
starting
some
to sell
criteria.
dogs. He's only sold one batch of dogs and he's not gonna have, but
There-
I'm with you, whatever you guys
I
want
just, I
to
just
do.
think there should be some income threshold, a
There has
gross,
to be.
gross receipts threshold.
We can go and see how it
to
goes.
I think they need to demonstrate a certain amount of business activity.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want no, we don't forget it's deadbeat.
Well, I mean, otherwise, I mean, somebody could show up with, you know, hey, I had gross receipts of $175
Yeah.
and I expended $1,000. I'm really just, you know, doing a tax write-off. That to me should not be something that we're looking
Yeah.
at to help qualify. But if you want to use 2,500, that's fine. We had just used 5,000 as a general baseline. But I do think that it needs an income threshold, and I'd like
I
some
do too.
direction on what that should be.
I would make a motion, we do 2,500.
So you would require for applicants to show
That they're
On
in
their-
business at
and
2,500.
have at least gross receipts of
Because
2,500.
they are going to be required to submit their
Last year's
personal,
tax
their personal tax return and their Schedule C. And so, based on what you're saying, it'll require line one gross receipts to have at least $2,500 on it.
I think it's fair. I'll second it.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
Oh, there was one other request I skipped it.
Go ahead.
Hazard pay. DSS sent me a request on Thursday. They were asking for hazard pay for one of their divisions. And doesn't have on here which one it is. Josh, you might know. What's Tracy's division?
CPS side.
That's what I thought it was. I didn't want to say that with that. They have asked for hazard pay $1,000 each to the full-time employees they have in that one division.
How many people is
That is 20. It's $20,000.
$20,000, and what does their job entail? I'm sure they are exposed, I just wanna know what it entails.
Well, I'm assuming the request there is because during all this, I know they have worked some altered schedule. I know that they were put on working from home. However, I'm assuming the nature of the request comes back to they receive calls and they have to go out and investigate.
I got a limit myself, and I can't vote on this, and probably shouldn't even talk on it, but just to explain generally.
Well, that's all I want, and I don't think there's anything wrong, is there?
Mr. Chairman, I think you can give information.
If
Yeah, I
they get a
think so,
call
too.
at midnight and say there's this abused or neglected
Yeah.
child at Reedy Ridge, whatever, they have to go actually into
And
the
that's
home.
what I thought.
Meet with the parents, into the place, and so.
By no means am I asking the question
But-
because I doubt their legitimacy, I'm just asking so we state it for the record.
Outside of a deputy, they're probably as exposed in this mess as
Yeah.
anybody, but that's as much as I'll probably say on the matter.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, when we were developing the coronavirus policy as required by the state, there are certain of their employees that are in the high risk. They've been evaluated and been found to be in the high risk category like the sheriff's department is. So they are in the high risk. Now, how many there are, I don't know. All I can tell you is I know that they're there, they're required to meet with the public, they're required to go into the homes, they're required to go and take children out of homes and to have those individuals in the cars. I know we've set the cars up, we hope we have, to help them with shields in the back and have COVID kits to help protect they also have to be present when there's ongoing visitation with the public. And so I know there are some of those folks that are designated and found to be high risk. individuals.
And the one thing I would say in this,
I don't think there's
if
20
it's
of them.
possible, the organization needs to limit the individuals.
That go
that
into
go
the
out.
house. I
You know,
don't
have
think
kind
20
of a-
people go into the
Cause I'm getting
houses.
ready to ask
No.
another question, cause this is kind of where I was going back to that criteria, but we obviously didn't look at these other agencies, but is behavioral health involved in that kind of business where they have to go out in the
No,
community?
No.
no.
I
They were
just wanted to make
shut-
They
sure.
were shut down completely for
Yeah,
every.
well, that's all I wanted to make sure, cause
The
I just,
nature of this request goes back to, as Josh said, a call comes in the middle of the night.
I agree.
Deputies have to go out, someone from DSS has to go with them in order to investigate what's going on. If they have to take someone out, they take them out. If they don't, then they don't.
And I thought that would be the answer.
Yes.
And I was good with it. I just wanted to state for the record, because there's a line of reasoning and why we're doing this.
They made the request, and upon looking into it, I thought it had validity to
I
it.
think it does. too.
I
And-
think it would be for only those that have gone out, not the whole department, because I'm sure part of that department does paperwork.
And I can ask the question of who went out, but
I'm
I would
sure all
also
20 of them
ask
did.
the
give me the
question.
parameters and I will take it back.
I would also ask the question is to make sure that, because that's 20 people, is there a way that they can do to mitigate exposure by trimming that down? Kind of like what we've had on turnout gear.
Again, I don't wanna talk too much, but they have their own board, their own council,
Yes,
and they've
they
got
have-
their own guidelines. That's
I
how they're
understand,
working.
but
In fact, that process has been.
That's a good point,
That
too.
process has been evaluated. There's been a whole assessment of the whole unit out there, all the DSS. And,
but I'm for the 20.
and they've
I'm
been
not
all
saying
been
they don't.
evaluated
I'm
as
not.
to the potential exposure and their exposure risk. Most of them are medium risk, but there's some that are high risk. And
Yeah.
and I know the policy tries to protect them in a number of ways.
Yeah,
And one
that's
of
all I
them,
was saying. I figured there would be, and I won't.
And that's where this process gets, we are responsible for all these other agencies.
We are, I mean,
I'll make a motion.
Because they
we
didn't
pay
get their own
this.
code.
in our paperwork, it says we're to help out all county agencies.
Yeah, no, and that's what I said from the beginning. We gotta include everyone, so.
Our
I make a
tally,
motion, we pay it.
our tally though is, where are we at?
Well, that 20 is actually part of that 389 that keeps us
Okay.
in the bounds.
Yeah.
And I've got a few things on here I know I still need to tweak. I think we're okay. What I want to do is I'll take this, I'll go back, we'll write checks again. Well, I'll come back, and I know right now we're basically going to be on the threshold of how many vehicles end up in or out. And the other is what to do with things like down at the bottom with the 4-H request. That one, I still want to clarify with the other localities who did what. Everybody was on the fence the last time that I spoke to them, and I really want to get some hard answers about what did you actually do? Did you actually help 4-H? Did you not help 4-H? I would like to have that answered before but in answer to, we're going to expend all of our money, and there are going to be a few things that'll slide in and out at the end, but I mean, I can make it work.
Mr. Chairman, I believe there's a motion on the
Yeah.
floor to approve up to $20,000 to the,
Yep.
what's the name of the unit?
DSS.
To the Department of Social Services.
What was the name of it?
Probably need to specify.
You need to specify the
Child
unit.
Protective Service and Foster
Oh.
Care Unit.
I'll say it's there is a specific name, I think that.
I would
I'll
like,
make a motion to
ahead.
pay the $20,000 for child protective services, the individuals that actually go out and are exposed.
Go ahead, Ms. Wills.
I would like to say that we need to do it for only the high-risk ones.
Well, we have a motion. Do we have,
There's a motion to amend.
so you have, are you putting that in the form of a motion to
Well, he
amend?
hasn't got a second to his in
Correct,
yet.
right, I was trying to
But
get
I
you.
would like to amend it to only the high-risk ones.
And now's the time to amend it.
So we have a substituted motion. Do we have a second to a substituted motion or further discussion?
I can't second it.
Well, I just didn't know if you had any further.
Well,
Why?
parliamentary, if I can, as a parliamentarian, basically as a motion on the floor, I think she has made a motion to amend his.
Okay.
So it's not a competing motion, it's just a motion to
Okay, so
amend.
motion to amend. Do we have a second to the motion to amend? And the motion to amend would be to only include the high-risk employees. Now, the question is, who makes that decision? I assume we just write the check to their board and let them
I
administer.
would assume they're like us. They've already had to go through the process of charting all of their employees, medium, low, medium, high risk. And so, we would just tell them that this is only for their high risk employee, given the way that the motion was amended.
Is there a second
So-
then? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, do we need to put that language in my motion?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine with.
All right, so let's, all right. Could you let's
I'll
withdraw
make
your
the
motion
motion.
for now. Let's withdraw it.
I'll withdraw my motion.
And you withdraw your substitute motion, Ms.
A new
Willis. So
motion. That's
Yes.
probably clean.
All right, so now,
Okay,
do we
now-
have any other motions?
I'll make a motion that we approve this for Child Protective Services, they're high-risk individuals. Up to $20,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, is there any further discussion or questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And I abstain, Ms. Clerk, Madam Clerk, I abstain.
I will get with them and break
Got
that
a
down.
little convoluted, but it wasn't that
Is that,
bad.
is that it on the,
I hope so, yes,
Do we,
1,000 for cruise rates.
yes.
I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but I'm gonna ask, because we had discussions at the last meeting about taking care of individuals that have had to really step up for this coronavirus and stuff, and we did some pay increases. Is it something we need to add?
You've got a
here?
closed session right here.
Okay, that's that, I'll wait for that.
okay, is anything else on item 3?
No, that does not mean I won't have to come back one last time on CARES Act to get you all straightened out with everything that we've done,
I
what is
understand.
not done. But this really clarifies a lot, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item number 4, closed meeting on our agenda. Is there a motion to enter into closed session?
I make a motion that we enter into closed session pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1, Section 2.2-3711A1, Personnel, County Administrator, 2, Legal Counsel, 3, all departments.
Is there a second?
I think,
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Session, back into open session. Is there a motion to certify matters discussed in closed session?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we only discuss those issues that we went into closed session for.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Do a roll call vote on the motion and second of the certification of closed meeting. Ms. Willis, how do you vote? Ms. Sluss?
Aye.
Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
Mr. Peters?
Aye.
And aye for me as well. The closed session is certified. Item number 6, there are votes or motions or discussion on matters brought up in closed session.
I'll make a motion, Chairman, that we add Mr. Rakes, our building inspector, to the hazard pay.
Yes, sir. Is there any questions on that motion, or is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? And Mr. Peters, not to, you mean just to include him in the
Yes,
previously
yes,
added,
yes,
the
I
bonus
agree.
piece? Everybody understand that? Any questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Mr. Rakes will be included in the,
If we could, Mr. Chairman, the motion probably should make sure it's stipulated as hazard pay and not bonus.
he did, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do we need to do a motion on Cindy?
Yes,
yes.
So I'll make a motion that we, increase Cindy's pay to $2,500 more.
starting 1/1/21.
What?
beginning
Starting January 1st.
1/1/21.
Yeah, beginning 1/21,
Is there a second?
1/1/21.
I second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Well, we need to say that she's getting 25 because she's only been here 4 years.
Yeah.
And the other girls had been here much longer.
And I'm fine with that being included if you want.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
Then, do we need to go back to CARES Act?
Yes,
So,
we need a
CARES Act,
motion.
I make a motion that we give her $2,500 for the effort she had to put. Cindy.
She's been the administrative
Yes.
part of
So
the,
this would be a bonus.
Yeah, this would be a bonus out of the CARES
Now,
Act
that's-
money, because she's been.
Technically, it's not a bonus.
It's not a bonus, it's just
Right,
paying
bonus
her
is
out of the
right,
CARES
sorry.
Act.
Thank you.
she,
Apologize.
she's
I
being
made-
compensated for the administrative
Yes.
function of
Yes.
CARES
I
Act.
derailed that. I'm sorry, Ron.
$2,500.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you, bud.
I second that motion.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Any other motions coming out of closed session?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we go ahead and hire Mr. Larry Barton as our new county administrator.
Or extend an offer?
Extend him an offer to take the administrative position.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any-
Can I do a counter motion?
So parliamentary procedures you made.
Sure.
Yeah. I make a counter motion that we, and I'm gonna say this,
Call substitute motion.
I'm not happy with the way this process has went. Cause only one person was handpicked for it, but I'll make a motion that we do what you're asking, Shelby, but we add a contract similar to David's to it to carry him 3 or 4 years.
I'll second that. So can you give more specificity, please,
Well, I
before we vote on it?
I guess the
That's a
thing,
separate motion, isn't it?
I need help with that, Bud, but I think
Well,
I'm.
the lawyer can't make your
Okay.
motions, Mr. Peters.
No,
If
I'm
you
not
can't make
asking
your
him
own
to. I
motions.
mean, the wording as far as, I'm not sure what you're looking for.
I think
specificity.
what it would be an amended motion. There's two ways to handle it.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't tell him what to make a motion.
No, I
No,
can't.
it's not.
No, but.
Well, let me ask you, what was
As
you
parliamentary,
asking?
Mr. Chairman, as
Yes, sir.
parliamentary.
Go ahead. Yes,
The
sir.
issue is going to be, he's got a substitute motion, but his substitute motion is to, I believe, hire him, make him an offer, but with a contract. That's his substitute motion.
Yeah, that's what it basically was.
And so his motion is on the table, and its priority is, and it's voted on first. And then if the motion is adopted, then you work with that. If it's not, you go back to the main motion.
Well, I guess Your Honor, back to the courtroom. I guess, Your Honor.
That's all.
But I guess the blanket word contract, so what do you want in the contract?
Well, I think that we need to give him guaranteed employment for 4 years,
Okay, what else?
so he has a sense of security coming on board.
What is wrong with the contract that we currently have?
We don't have a contract with him currently.
Well,
That's what
all
I'm
we'd have to
asking for.
do would be
You-
change the name.
What?
Wouldn't we have to just change the name?
That's what you want in it, yes.
Well, it's his motion, and I don't want to vote
Well,
on it until I
no,
understand
no,
what his motion
but-
is.
But you second it, and I think you
Well,
guys
I'm gonna withdraw
understand where
my
I'm
second.
going with this. Give him the contract similar to what we gave David. Let's do it, and I would suggest that we do it 4 years, so that we don't go through this chaos every time there's an election.
not be an
Cause they'll have to get to know him for a year.
All right, so
Well,
your
that-
motion is
4
to
years, or we
extend Mr. Larry
wouldn't take
Barton
him
an
over to the
offer
next
Yeah,
board.
with a contract accompanying that offer
yes,
that guarantees him 4 years with the similar provisions that Mr. Moore has currently.
yeah,
That's your
6
motion.
months pay.
6 months pay if he leaves voluntarily.
Now, he may need more than 1
Yeah,
month of
if you got
insurance
something wrong, of
also.
course you're gonna
Yeah,
get
his
rid
wife
of it.
don't work.
And just like the contract reads today.
It's a game of chess. So you,
But only 4 years is what I'm suggesting. 4 years, that way he's got time to work with the
He
next
may need
board.
more than 1 month of insurance.
See, David has 1 month insurance. And
Yeah, we get the
s-
same
people that
stuff.
can't
The only
convert to
difference
another
I
one
would
may
say
need
is
more
make
time.
it 4 years so that come election day, we don't throw, we get a chance, he gets a chance to show the new board what's going on.
And you want the 6 months of pay
Yeah.
if he voluntarily leaves.
Yeah, yeah, because I think for him to come, he's making a bold move here if he comes over from the school, cause he could be safe there. I want him to have some kinda job security, so it's not just, politics or whatever it may be that drives him away again.
All right, he's got a motion on the floor. I
Mr. Chairman,
withdraw
I
my
would
second.
ask that we change his, contract to 3 months insurance and not one. If we use the same contract.
So are you
I'm
saying,
good with the 3 months, are you good with the 6 months
all right,
pay?
let's back up
Yes.
for a second, please. All right, we had a motion by Ms. Willis to extend an offer for Mr. Barton. That was the motion.
Then you got
And then you have a substituted motion to extend Mr. Barton an offer with a contract with 4 years guaranteed and all of the same other provisions currently contained in the
Yes.
administrator's motion. That's your motion. Now, is there a second?
I can go 3 months insurance, I'm good with
So
that.
you're modifying that. Okay,
Yep,
that's
yep,
your
I'll
motion.
modify it.
Is there a second?
I'll
Did you
second it.
withdraw your second a minute
I
ago?
did, yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. All right, we have an offer to Mr. Barton. Now,
Except for Z-Nay.
do we have a motion to go back into closed session to meet with the candidate and discuss the terms and whether or not he would be willing to accept? So a motion would be to go to closed session.
Which
pursuant to-
motion passed?
Your motion passed.
Okay. I just
So
wanted
we
to
would need a motion to go to closed session pursuant to the code to discuss personnel.
Mr. Chairman, you would read the closed section, all of it, including the same language, would have to have exact same language, but leave out legal counsel in all departments.
Yes, sir.
And so we need that same language read by somebody.
Somebody willing to make that motion?
I'll make a motion that we go into closed session pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-311A1, Section 2.2-3711A1, and 1 is County Administrator.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Mr. Peters seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. We're back into closed
You
session.
all are gone.
Ready to slide? Okay. We now come out of closed session portion of our meeting, a second closed session portion. Will someone make a motion to certify the matters discussed in the closed section?
I'll make a
closed session?
motion that only those items that we went into closed session for were discussed.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. At this time,
That was unanimous.
it was unanimous.
Do I need to make my statement now?
I was gonna explain, or you go ahead, explain.
Teresa, on the motion a while ago that Ron made and that Rhonda seconded to offer the contract, I did not vote. I did not say yes, I did not say no, and I did not ask to abstain. Just like the record know that I did not vote.
So it's just
And I didn't catch
4-0.
that, so,
4-0,
Okay.
yes.
That's fine.
and I don't know how you notate that.
And I don't know how you notate the other one.
I think it's an abstention.
I think it's an abstained vote.
Abstain means not voting. That's what abstain means.
Any other matters? I hear a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
And I wish wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving if we don't meet again.
Me too.
Hope everybody has a good, happy, healthy holiday. I'll second
Like
the motion to adjourn. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.